Welcome to Surviving Ish podcast. I'm your host, David. I'm real excited about today. So a longtime friend / acquaintance that we know each other from a karaoke bar. If you've been following my story, you know that I was a victim of a hate crime, and scene of the crime or where I was found by the guy that attacked me came from this bar that we used to go to. And her and her family have been nothing but supportive, and we've connected again here recently. This is her very first podcast, but she has built quite a platform on all the social medias talking about politics. And so welcome, D-Daw. Well, I know you now as D-Daw because that's what you go by on your social medias, and you went viral. You've built a crazy platform. So thank you so much for being with me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Dave.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again.
I know.
It's good to see you outside a bar.
I know. And it's been, I haven't been back there in so long, and it's not because of my attack. Like, one of the first places I went to after my attack was there because I was not going to let him steal that place from me, because that was my Cheers.
Right.
And and it's predominantly straight, but I never felt threatened there. The guy that attacked me, that was his first time there. It's not like he was a regular. And Bull Feathers, they sent food to my family, while they were tending to me, and all the guests, all the patrons, all the bartenders, like they were just right there with me. And it was so much of my healing, and I'd be damned if I was going to let him take that place from me,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it wasn't the bar. It was the person.
Exactly.
And it's changed a lot. All the bars have changed a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The social circles changed. Money. People don't have extra money.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite memories of you is some friends of mine and I from Bull Feathers was playing like a scavenger hunt game, and we had 2 carloads of people. We had to go around, we had to find a list of things, and we had to take our picture with it. And our very last one was a red convertible. The Bull Feathers, and you had, was it a
Miata. I had a little Miata. Yeah, I remember that.
We saw you getting out of it, and we're like, can we attack your car? You're like, yeah, have at it. So we got on and took pictures of it, and you were such a great singer, performer. Are you still in a band or still?
I'm not a band anymore. I'm too old for that stuff. But I go over there and sing once a week with Art and Marty. Mark. We still get together and sing, but
because you go live on TikTok.
We do. We do on Friday nights. We try to just about every Friday.
Yeah.
So we have fun. There's 3 old people. There's 3 old people singing, so we have fun.
Yeah, I love that. And your partner, your spouse,
yes, Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, right after my attack, was she working at Bull Feathers, or did she work there?
She worked there for a while. She worked part-time as a server. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember, and I want to say that maybe it was either her daughter or maybe a niece or someone that was following my story, and I was there at the same time that they were. And so she introduced me to them. It's been 10 years ago at this point. So, of course, I'm horrible at names. But they were just so lovely, and we had such a good time with them. Yeah. And it was so nice when she saw me come in, she wanted to make sure that I was comfortable. And so there's a lot of fond memories that come with that place, and I just really appreciate you all being a part of those memories.
Yeah, well, you came out of it well.
Yeah.
Came out of it well, because there for a while you weren't well, and it was horrible what happened. It was horrible what happened.
Yeah.
And we took it personally.
Sure.
The people at the bar took it personally. We're messing with one of our own. And,
right.
And you were a very lucky man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even when, because the media releases story as if I took him home for sex and propositioned him. Of course they're going to. But the thing is, even if that was the case, it would have been 2 consensual adults.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
That shit goes back for years, though, Dave. But you're a lot younger than me, but back in the day, there was an old drag queen, Francine Wilson, who was a great friend of mine. And she ended up, somebody went home with somebody from the carousel and ended up getting killed. I mean, the guy killed her. And the media turned it every which way. He didn't know she was in drag. It was all complete bullshit. And Knox County didn't do a thing about it. Not a thing.
Of course.
And that was in when? 1990s? The early 90s?
Yeah. The victim blaming is real, and it's something that we're seeing again on repeat. I mean, and I say again, not as if it ever went away, but we're seeing it. I don't even know what adjective to put with it, but when it comes to the Epstein files and the women that have, made accusations against Trump that have been able to prove themselves against Trump or anyone related to, and just how
it's always,
it's their fault. It's because he's rich.
It's all about money. It's all about money and power and control. That's what the crimes were about: money, power, and control.
Yeah.
Women and children, and then don't believe them. And it's gone on for years with Trump. We all know he's got to play with it for years. And now the money's covering it up, and these ladies are trying to come together, but they don't have the money. But I think they're starting to get the backing because people are like, whoa. And even like one of the newscasters on Fox, Megyn Kelly, I think her name is. I mean, she came out with, it's not like these girls were 14, as if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all, come on.
Yeah, that clip blew my mind when she was like, well, it's said that Epstein likes girls on the younger side, but like 14, not like 8.
Hey, it's exactly what she said. And I'm like.
And so that's just putting it out there that, that these 14-year-olds are consensual, and they're not.
And I look at my 12-year-old granddaughter, and I'm, what are you saying? What are you doing? And trying to make it okay, what they did. And it's not okay what they did.
No, absolutely it isn't. And here's what I tried to stress to people. I was 34 years old when I was raped, when my hate crime happened. And knowing what it did to me mentally, emotionally, and physically, when I've had a sexual history in the past that was healthy.
Right.
And that one night fucked all that up for me.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, I was not able to have consensual sex after that for the longest time. It became, luckily through therapy and everything, but it became a stressor on my partner when he and I got together, and we were together 7 years. He was very patient and understanding, but at the same time, like, he would want to have healthy sex.
Right.
And I did not know how to have healthy sex.
Right.
And so therefore I chose not to have sex at all because it was shameful.
Yeah.
And to have sex with me meant it was some kind of punishment for that person, is the mentality that I got. And I got that with just one night of it happening. And what is also so crazy about that is I don't remember the rape.
Right.
And so my point of saying all that is, for a child to be introduced to sex like this, and this is their definition of sex, and and knowing what it did to me at 34 years old, I can't wrap my mind around what it did to a child.
Right.
And the fact that people will find a way to fluff it and blame this 13-year-old child.
Right. Well, these are the same people that were willing to go after him when they thought it was the Democrat Party. And then when it got flipped, all of a sudden, it was our people. And what they can't understand, this isn't a political thing. This isn't a Democrat-Republican thing. This is a power money thing. Politics, they use politics, but this isn't political. This is depravity.
Exactly.
And it's gone on for generations, long before we knew about it.
Yes.
And I keep, in my mind, I start thinking of all these old movies like Caligula and all this. It's just the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And it's creepy and it's scary and it's real.
Yeah. And I like the point that you're making, how it's not political. And that's what I try to tell people all the time. It's like, David, we liked it so much more, liked you so much more when you were not political. Well, this is about rights, morals, and values at this point. It's not red and blue any longer.
No.
And, and I've even had people, say to me, David, you lead as a man, you lead as a white man. Like, it's going to take a while before anything in this affects you. Well, I'm not going to wait until it does. Stand up and want to join hands. I'm going to fight with and for the minorities, because it's not going to be long until they're after me. I'm gay. I'm I
We're on
might
the
lead as a
list.
white man.
We're all on the list.
Oh, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so
And I'd
if
be
it's not
damned.
white, straight, cis, you're in
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah.
Male.
Yep. And I'd be damned if I'm going to wait until it hits my home and my wallet or someone that I care for to say, okay, now I'm ready to fight. I'm not doing it.
Wow.
I'm fighting now, and people even say, like, a lot of your posts, David, really don't have anything to do with the gays. Well, I'm not focused just on that.
Right.
I'm here for all of us.
Right. People have a hard time with like me being a lesbian, you being a gay man. They think our whole life that's what it is.
Right.
And it's not. That's a part of what I am.
Yeah.
But I've got family, I've got grandchildren, I worked, I've got Social Security.
Right.
So that's a little part. But that's the part that they try to aim people's hate toward.
Yeah.
And that's what they fear. They don't fear me as a woman, they fear me as a lesbian.
Right.
And that's what it is, it's fear.
Yeah.
And like, I'm after their kids. Come on. No. It's not us.
Well, exactly. It's not us.
It's not us.
It's being shown who it is, And
Right.
so when people ask you why or how have you always been political?
I've always been one to vote. And I've always been one to keep up with things that were going on. And that comes back from my granddaddy. My grandparents were Democrats. My grandfather was a big Democrat in this area. And when John Kennedy was campaigning for the 60 election, he got to go pick him up at McGee Tyson Airport. And he was talking about that his entire life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I remember when I was little asking him, why are we Democrats? I didn't get the difference. He said, because we're too poor to be Republican. I remember that.
Wow.
We were always a working family. All of us worked. And he said, it's what your priorities are. He had a little diner in downtown Maryville. When he got out of the service, he got out of World War II, he opened a little diner in downtown Maryville, Cott's Place. And if you look at old pictures of downtown Maryville, you can see the sign from it. And he let all the blacks in the community that didn't have the money to buy their meals, he let them get credit. And nobody did that back then. We're talking about this is in the late 40s, early 50s. And he let these people of color come down there and eat their lunch at his diner and then come and pay him when they got paid. And when my granddaddy died, you should have seen the number of people from the black community that came, because they knew from generations that he was a good man. Cotton was a good man.
Yeah.
And so I was raised with that. It didn't matter what color their skin is. If they're good people, they're good people. That's what you go by, is what kind of person they were. And that went back to him being a Democrat. They were Democrats. So that was like put in my soul when I was just a kid. So,
oh yeah, that's giving me chills. I love that. I will say my family has never really been political.
Right.
But we've always been growing up, my best friend was black.
Right.
One weekend I was in a black church, next weekend he was in a white church. It was never a thing,
Right.
My family is so loving and accepting to me, as a gay man. It was never a thing. They love my gay friends. They've been to drag shows with me. It was never a thing. We never really sat around and talked about politics until recently, and I'm the one that has brought it up because I feel like there was a time where, regardless if it was Republican or Democrat, our lives were not completely on the line. And that could be some ignorance, but because I've always voted since I could, but I never really felt like I had to be in it like I am or want anyone else to be in it.
Well, we've never lived through anything like this. It's not politics. And I've got friends that are my age that voted for Trump, and their thing was, well, I'm conservative. And I'm like, this isn't about being conservative. This man the MAGA party is not the Republican Party. The old Reagan Republican Party does not exist anymore. This is MAGA. Listen to the way he talks. And look at over the years when the White House would exchange hands, they were always respectful and always going to throw their support behind whoever got elected, not him. This is totally different. This man doesn't want to be a president. This man wants to be a dictator. And this is an authoritarian government. And we're all in danger. All of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you have, JFK talking about how he wants to have these camps for, if you're on like Adderall or
Right, right,
antidepressants. Well, guess what? Straight white rich people, that is you too,
right, right,
or even minus the straight, because there's a security, I guess, a false sense of security that comes with being white in America.
right.
And
Yeah.
but when you think about him saying that, I mean, my mom, my family does pretty well for themselves. They bust
Right,
their ass that we're not rich, but we do
right.
well for ourselves. I've never had to worry about where food was coming from. I never had to worry about if we were going to have electricity on, and school clothes or school supplies or field trips. We
Right,
did okay. My mom's on antidepressants. I'm
right.
on antidepressants and Adderall, so I'm gay. I'm on antidepressants. I'm on Adderall. Guess what, y'all? I'm gone to the next camp.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. That's just a way to weed us down because Stephen Miller made it clear what he wanted. He thought it should be 140 million. I believe the number's 140 million white people in this country. And Peter Thiel's behind all that, which I find so ironic because he's a gay mayor. And I'm like, all of it is just really like a science fiction movie. It's like, is this real? Is this stuff really happening? But it's really happening. And their whole plan, they want to take over the world.
Oh yeah.
And I say stuff like that, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, no, y'all don't understand. Peter Thiel said over a decade ago that he had a vision of how world government should work, but it wasn't electable. And so there's ways around it being elected. You take it. And who else is involved in it? Is Israel involved in it? Probably. Is Russia involved with it? Probably. So this is a worldwide thing that we're just little bitty pieces. We're pieces in the game, and we're expendable.
Yep, absolutely we are. And what I find very interesting too is, you have people who are on Trump's side and Trump's administration.
Right.
They're also immigrants. When you think of like Elon Musk, he
Yeah.
gets more help from the states than we do, and you're worried about the SNAP benefit over
Oh
here.
yeah.
But what's so
Yeah.
funny is that they're only worried about immigrants who have color, and
Right.
who is of color.
Right.
The white, is it Peter Thiel? Is he?
Peter Thiel's the guy that has Palantir that wants to get all of our information. He's gotten all of our back.
Yeah.
So Peter Thiel's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
He bankrolled J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Because J.D. Vance came from nowhere. I mean, he got his degree, and I think he worked at some kind of push job for a couple of years as an under lawyer, and then all of a sudden he went in the Senate for a year or two, and then he becomes vice president, and now he's lined up to be president, and that was the whole plan. Because I don't think Trump wanted him at all. But they're like, you're taking this guy right here, J.D. Vance, who's changed his name how many times, reinvented himself how many
Three
times?
times, yeah.
Yeah.
And J.D. Vance was the first quote unquote politician to refer to Donald Trump as Hitler.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they don't like each other. You can tell that it was financially arranged.
Oh yeah.
And because in my opinion, J.D. Vance doesn't have the riz to get the following. They need someone like Trump.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Trump is absolute evil, but he's not the brains.
No.
He's just somehow able to be the face up, which I find very funny because we want to homoerotic these MAGA people. They do these homoerotic stuff with Trump, with putting him on a shirt with a shirtless six pack or whatever, and they talk about how masculinity is being robbed. And they're going for a man that wears a full face of makeup that don't even know how to blend it. And you want to talk about masculinity to me? Like, I don't get it.
No, he did the same thing as Hitler. He played upon their prejudices.
Yeah.
And he did it with xenophobia. They said Jews. He said immigrants. And the same thing, coming after the trans, coming after drag queens, coming after gay people, coming after people of color. Anything that these people that are so full of hate had somebody to hate with them.
Yeah.
And so they didn't pay attention to back here what was being done to them or what was lined up to be done to them. They just came together because, they don't like them Mexicans either. They don't like them black people either. They don't like them queers either. So they were all in part of it. And now when this all came out about all this stuff with the Epstein files, he built that up in them since Hillary, at the 2016 election and the Pizzagate and all that stuff. And they were going to release those files and they were going to get all those Democrats. Well, he won. It was time to release them. And all of a sudden it was like, ooh, because he knew he was all in those files.
Oh, yeah.
And then he started y'all are stupid, calling them dumb. But a lot of them are not letting go of that because that's what he ran on, that he was going to release the JFK files, the Martin Luther King Jr. files, and the Epstein files. The first two, he didn't have any problem. He doesn't want to release these. So there's redacting the shit out of them.
Oh my gosh. And I've never seen anything like it. And I just get so blown away with, they can say one little thing, this administration, when I say they, the administration, they can say one little thing and MAGA takes it and runs with it. There are people that will down the hill that Trump was in the files or on the island as part of an FBI agent.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, he was working undercover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Mike Johnson said. That was when they were getting desperate. Oh, he worked undercover to blow this up. And some of the MAGA do believe it. But if you watch any of the social media sites, it's so full of propaganda. And they get one thing and they run with it. And they just keep throwing those posts out. And you've got these MAGA that don't know any different, or some of them don't. I don't want to lump them all together, but it's a lot of them.
Right.
They believe this shit.
Yeah.
And then they start spreading it. And that the spread. And that's exactly how Nazi Germany worked. The exact same thing. Repeat the same lie 3 times and they'll start to believe it. And it's truth. And it's scary. And we sit back, how did that happen back then? Well, right here's how it happened. And there's no excuse because people have access to the truth now. They have access to information if they take the time and research, but they don't. They research propaganda sites, and there's no reasoning with them. None.
None.
You can't reason with them.
No.
And I look at those people sitting up on those bar stools, and all of them barely making it. None of them are wealthy. None of them, and I'm like, you have nothing to offer them. If you honestly think you're going to have a place in this new world, you're sadly mistaken.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I try to explain to people all the time is you're closer to being on SNAP benefits than you are to being on a yacht or a private jet somewhere.
Oh, exactly.
And you're helping these people get another yacht and private jet.
Exactly. And pay less taxes than you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Great. Like Castantel, he's got this country music girlfriend or whatever that, these agents have to spend our money to drive their drunk asses home or fly them around. And, then you have JD Vance, who is not married to a white person, who has interracial children. And if he does not defend and stand up for them, you think he's going to fight and stand up for us?
Exactly. It's odd. And nobody, you couldn't write a book about this. Nobody would believe it.
Nobody would believe it.
But it's happening.
Yeah. And
it's daily. It's like every day I'm just like, what? Every day something else comes on. I'm like, you are freaking kidding me. And people just jumping all over it. And it's frustrating. But I think honestly that there's more people that think like us. We're just not as loud.
Yeah.
We're not as loud about it. We're not throwing all the propaganda out because they are spewing that propaganda. And I think people, like right now, obviously, all the elections that they've had, no Republicans have won. Any of these special elections we've had since he went in office this last time, Democrats have won it. And it's not like they're going for Democrats. They're just going for not them.
Right. And that truly says a lot. And one thing I will say that I do get frustrated with the Democrats, of course, because of course you have these, corporate Democrats, that are still after the money. And I'll tell you, just because you're a Democrat does not mean I think that you're great.
No.
And you have these some of the MAGA people, they think, oh, well, just because they're Democrat. No, baby.
That's not.
I don't care what Democrat is in the Trump, in the Epstein files. I want them gone. And so one thing that I wish the Democrats did was be more loud about what they're doing. That's how Trump got people, is he wanted everything to be televised. And Zoran Mandani, he's doing that. When the snow happened in New York, he was out there in the snow with the lines of
Yeah.
trucks saying, "We're getting rid of this. We're taking," and people cheer that on. They want to see it,
Right. Oh,
and
yeah.
and I love that he's doing that. And I respect the fact that Democrats are like, we don't have to pat ourselves on the back for everything, but Trump changed things, and now we
Oh,
do.
yeah. Yeah, but you're an awful lot of Democrats aren't what they try to make themselves seem.
Yeah.
And there's some of them that I'm terribly disappointed in. I'm terribly disappointed in Cory Booker. I'm disappointed in so many of them because I'm like, when it came down to the wire, you all are just like them, and you're getting your PAC money. And it's all about show. Well, you know what? You getting up and filibustering and talking for 24 hours doesn't mean shit if you're not going to do anything else. That was all for show. And it's like we need a lot of new blood in there. And I think it's starting to happen. I think that the representative from New Mexico is fabulous. Melanie Stansberry.
Yeah.
Love her. Love her. But she doesn't give a shit what she says.
Yep.
She's a brave, brave woman. And then there's other ones. I think AOC, I think she's great.
Love AOC.
Me too, because she doesn't care. And they keep throwing the shit at her, and she's just like, lets it go.
And Jasmine Crockett.
Will they be Jasmine Crockett? Because they don't care. And will they be electable? Probably not, because the United States has a real hard time with women. Look around the world. There's women leaders around the world, but here they still have a hard time. And that was part of the problem with Kamala Harris. I had somebody sit and tell me, well, I can't elect her. I can't vote for her. She doesn't have any experience. And I thought, wait a minute. I'm like, she got her law degree. Then she was a prosecutor. Then she was a district attorney. And then she was attorney general. Then she was senator. And then she was vice president. What the hell else do you want?
Right.
What else do you want? But the problem was she was a Black woman, and there was no way in hell they'd vote for her.
Yep.
And so here we are.
Okay. So one thing that I really appreciate about you and a couple people that I follow is you all have this elegant, classy, yet stern way of telling the story and making the point where people want to hear it and people do listen. That is an ability that I don't have that I'm working on. And, because I will come out and I will say some god awful that I stand by it. I feel like it's true what I'm saying, but I feel like in order for me to really hit the target that I'm trying to hit, I've got to find a way to maybe, I don't want to say soften the blow, but just, I don't know. You and a couple other people just have this brilliant way of doing it. And so I watch you all daily trying my best. Like, okay, what would DDoS say? Because DDoS and I were saying the same thing, but how would DDoS say what I'm wanting to say? You know, and you have almost like this story time with it where you put it on this personal touch to it. But by the time the story is over, I've heard the lesson, I've learned the lesson. And I just really admire that about you. And it's something that I'm using you and your content to try to learn and grow from for myself.
Yeah. Well, good. Anytime, man, I watch people too.
Yeah.
And I have people I'm huge fans of.
Yeah.
And some of them are a little harsh, and you end up watching them more than you listen to them.
Right.
And I think that's a lot with the social media in general. And I think a lot of them want that. That's what they want. They're showboating.
Yeah.
But I can't be bothered with that. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I just talk.
Yeah. Well, you're brilliant at it.
Oh.
And I hope I know that you know that, obviously. And I know that you take that as the biggest compliment too, right?
I do.
When was the first time, like what caused you to hit record that first time and say, I'm gonna say this, I want to post it?
The Trump stuff was starting to happen. And my sister and I had been reading about Project 2025, and he had denied it. And I started researching, and she started researching, and I'm like, they're going to do this. And they were starting to take the first steps of it.
Yeah.
And I said, this shit's going to happen. And you can go back on my videos back. I didn't start till a year ago. I started last February. And my first ones were, they're going to come after Medicare. They're going to come after special education. And what did they do? They came after it. And they're still doing it. I mean, we're getting ready to go into Project Esther. And people are still in denial. I'm like, do you not see what's happened here? They're taking all the money And anything that benefits us, they're getting rid of it or they're going to privatize it. And that's where it's going to come to like prisons and stuff. They're going to privatize it so they can profit off that too. They'll take our tax dollars plus make the money off whatever project it is. School vouchers, same thing. And I'm like, this is scary. And this is Peter Thiel. And we'll end up still being the 1%. And you and I are even less. We're on the lower part of the 1%.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And will they get away with it? I don't know. I think their base is starting to get shaky.
Yeah, like there's this whole like saying of you got to hit rock bottom to know which way is up,
Right.
and I'm seeing things crumble,
I
and
think they're starting to get real shaky.
yeah,
So, and people are starting to be affected. They didn't believe it about the taxes. They didn't believe that because the Republicans bought the subsidy, and they're like blaming Obamacare. I'm like, before Obamacare, a lot of people didn't have any insurance; they couldn't afford it because insurance is a scam. I mean, you and I know that it's a scam.
yeah.
It's a middleman scam that you can't go to your doctor anymore. You have to go to your insurance company, and hopefully they approve it.
Oh yeah.
All this stuff with the subsidy, and especially people in Tennessee. I'm like, do you realize what a poor state you live in? Do you know how much federal money we get here in our schools and in your insurance? Well, they were like, well, the Democrats, Obamacare. Well, when they didn't pass that, their premiums skyrocketed.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people aren't insured now. And I'm like, you better hope you don't get sick.
I know.
Hope you don't get sick.
I know. I try to tell people all the time. I'm like, let's look at the facts, right? Like
Right.
when you have these red states, we are the ones, and we're Tennessee, we're red.
Right.
We get more federal assistance.
Yeah.
We're lower on the education level.
Yeah.
When I look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma has always been low, but they had reached during a Democratic Party maybe 10, 18 years ago. They really went up on that chart. Like their education level went up, their women's rights and women's safety and all that, went up, up to the better.
Right.
But now they're back at the bottom, and they're spending all this money to make sure that a Trump Bible is in every school.
Right.
And like, this is how is this
Priorities are all fucked up. That's exactly what it is. Priorities are all fucked up, and always hide behind religion. Always hide behind religion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you're doing the most unchristian-like things possible. But praise God. And I'm like, how can you do that? How can you do that? Let's read our Bible, but I'm not going to feed those kids. And it's sick. It's a sickness, and it's indoctrination, and they're blindsided.
Yeah.
And some of them still feel that way. And the ones that are still like that with all this information available to them, there's no saving them. But I think that number's dwindled because they're starting to get affected personally. They go to the grocery store, and they have a man up there who's a billionaire telling them that there's no such thing as unaffordability. I mean, dude,
It says
you've been to the grocery store? I go buy my Cadbury eggs, David. That's what I go buy. I love Cadbury eggs, and I've watched my Cadbury eggs go from 99 cents to $1.24. Does that sound like a lot to everybody? No, but that's 25%.
Yeah.
Now take your whole grocery bill and put it up 25%, and that's what's happened. We all know it. Anybody that shops, it's crazy. And they'll go there and just still praise him. It's can't fix it.
I can't wrap my mind around it. And I will say, I share and release, stuff daily, and some of the stuff I put will get, some comments. Usually there's a few MAGA people that follow me because people are like, why don't you block them? Well, I don't want to sit and just yell into an echo chamber. I'm not blocking the people that need to fucking hear what I'm saying, Like, what's the point of me telling you all this? You already know all this. I learned half of it from you. You know what I mean? Like, so why do we need to just keep yelling things in the echo chamber? I want for those people that need to hear it.
Right.
And I wake up daily, and I may have made a post that gets 3 likes and 10 comments, but I wake up to 20 something private messages, and a lot of them are the people that are proudly vote for Trump. They're 3-time Trumpers, but they're private messaging me, which tells me that they see that they don't want to put anything on the post because they don't want their name to be associated with it.
Right.
They have questions. They're starting to doubt things. And so I have ongoing conversations to the point that I recently started meeting and recording with a guy that is 27 years old, loved Donald Trump. And so I was like, let's start recording. And because we actually get this, we had a 3 hour long conversation. We come from two different sides of the
Yeah.
political stance, and there was alcohol involved. We
Wow.
left as closer friends, not a single fight, not a single
Right.
argument, and we started hitting record. And because I told him, I said, I want you to come with me with questions, and I want to come with you with questions. I want you to have your resources. I want to see where you're getting your information versus where I'm getting mine.
Yeah.
We came with 5 questions. 3 of them were the same, like Epstein,
Right.
and but when he showed me his resources and then I showed him mine and was able to fact check it, he was
Right.
like, oh shit. And you can see in real time.
Yeah.
And there was one part where he was getting teary-eyed and he was like, what have I done? And he
Right.
was like, what can I do now? And I was like, this is what we do now. You are you're a man, you're a white man, you're a straight man. You've got to be loud. You've got
Yeah.
to join up and be loud. You've got to you got to talk to your dad. You've got to talk to, he's a construction worker. You got to talk to your teammates that, are in the bro system with you. Those are the people that need to hear this shit.
Right. Right. And I think so. I really think some of them are waking up, but some
Yeah.
people, you have to be personally affected. As
Yeah.
long as it's the people happening over there, you don't care.
Yeah.
And it's going to affect us all. I don't know any billionaires, and it's the 1% against the 99, and it's going to affect all of us, everybody I know. And a lot of them can't even fathom how much money that is. They can't picture it. And I'm like, more than you will see in 1,000 lifetimes. Your whole family.
There's this picture, and if you've not seen it, I need to send it to you. But it tries to put things in size perspective. So it has
Yeah.
the average size man beside $100. Then it shows them beside $1,000, and it shows them beside $1,000,000, and then it shows them beside $1 billion, and it's like standing in between the World Trade Center. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
something that you're a speck to the
Right.
size of the physical size
Yeah.
of $1 billion. The stack of
Right.
millions of dollars, and when people see that, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
you
They
know,
don't fathom it. And, Musk is lined up to be a trillionaire.
yeah,
And where's he getting that money? Through a lot of them through contracts with our country.
Egg-
How did he get those contracts? He went into Doge and he awarded the contracts. It's the biggest scam.
Yeah.
And Trump's in the middle of it. He's made $1.5 billion in this year.
I know.
And he's throwing his family contracts why is his son-in-law over there messing with Israel? Why is he part of that? It's scary, and he needs to go. He needs to go. But we'll be dealing with the same demon, but in a different body. We'll be dealing with Vance and them. But we know that these men that are actually the faces of these politics aren't the ones running it. It's a whole
Right.
lot.
Right.
So,
And yeah, and it's like, people were like, oh, I wake up every day hoping that today's the day that Donald is,
right.
doesn't wake up or whatever. But I don't know that that's going to change anything.
It'll be JD Vance.
Yeah.
I think the man's dying. I think he looks bad. I know he's got a lot of physical stuff. You can't be that age with that many physical problems and be around long. That's just
Right.
facts.
Right.
But it'll go right over into JD Vance. And after that, it's Mike Johnson. And what needs to happen right now is we need to get control of Congress so that we at least have a voice. And that's what they're aiming to stop. That's why they're going in these voter precincts and going in the districts and taking the voter rolls. They're going to try to stop the midterm because they know they're going to lose it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
if they lose it, they don't know what they're going to do if they actually have a Congress, because right now we don't.
Right. Yeah. When people say, and I would love your opinion on this, when people say, oh, you all are heading, America is heading to a dictatorship, aren't we already in one?
We're definitely an authoritarian. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because he does what he wants. He ignores the Constitution unless it suits what he wants done. Then he'll throw the Constitution out.
Right.
But he's ignored the Constitution. Everything he's done, he's bypassed the Congress step. We're supposed to be a system of checks and balances. We don't have that now. And all of this was in that Project 2025.
Yeah.
He needed to get hold of Congress. He needed to get hold of the judicial. And we've got a crooked Supreme Court. they're going to do whatever he wants. And
Well,
that
he was the one that placed all of them in there, right? And
yeah,
Jennifer,
and yeah, that they helped. They were actually when Obama was wanting to put one in, they wouldn't put it in. Said there wasn't enough time. That they didn't want to put another Supreme Court justice in. I think there was maybe 2 or 3 months left in his term. Oh, they didn't want to do that then. And that goes back to Mitch McConnell. He was behind that because he was Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
And then when Trump wanted to put one in, they hurried up and put it right in. Just as soon as she died, they planned it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so now they've got the Supreme Court, they've got the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, and there's no checks and balances. He does whatever the hell he wants.
And you said Constitution, and I have never seen someone flip so much when you have all of these. You're not taking my guns. I should be able to have my gun everywhere. And well, you shouldn't have guns at a protest.
Yeah,
like I've never seen people flip that quick.
Yeah. And he's thrown that out quite a bit too. You've heard, well, that's because part of it, they may very well take their guns because they'll be afraid of an uprising.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what it comes down to.
Yeah.
As at part of the Project 2025 thing was actually the opposite. They were going to get rid of any kind of law limiting your guns. They wanted guns in schools. They wanted no background checks. They wanted all the things to everybody be weaponized. But now they're starting to be like, ooh, and back off on it.
Yeah.
And because where are all these guys that wear their sidearm to the Walmart and they were going to fight an authoritarian government? They weren't going to, don't tread on me. Where are they?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you?
Well, because like we had mentioned earlier, it's getting to the point where it's going to affect these people too. And these people are the ones that will pull the trigger because that's the part of the Constitution they fight for. And so when ICE comes and knocks on their door, because it's not about, everyone thinks, oh, well, if you don't speak English or, if you're not white or if you're not, if you wasn't born in America, that doesn't matter. It's not fucking mattered since they put this, MAGA ICE, in place. None of that mattered. They just told you that. And here's the thing is, this administration has told us everything that they're going to do. Project 2025 was posted to his website while he was saying he was not mentioned or part of it.
Right. No, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
But you want to know where I pulled it from to read about it? Donald Trump's website.
Yeah. And now you can't hardly find any. You can't find. You still find copies of it. Now you can't get it. It's like my sister got a bootleg copy from her cousin's cousin.
Right.
And went down there and printed it out. She paid to have 900 pages printed out.
Yeah.
She's like, that's the only way we're going to get one. Yeah. I'm like, so now I can call her. You can hear her in there just rattling.
And they tell us everything that they're going to do.
Yeah.
And even Musk and Trump both said, well, there was several of them that said, if we don't win this election, we're going to prison.
Yeah. That ought to tell them something. That ought to tell them something right there. But they just, they impeached him twice. And Pam Bondi, she's evil. She is evil. Kristi Noem is evil. These women, I always heard that the women guards in the concentration camps were worse than the men.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Because that thing in front of the house the other day, she looked like an absolute fool, but she was going down for it. She was going down.
But that was up 50,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, talking about kids being raped. Well, the Dow's at 50. That makes no sense. He's the best president ever. But, he loved that. And that's who she's there to please him.
Exactly.
And she's supposed to be our lawyer. That's the attorney general. She's the lawyer for the people. And that's a joke. We don't have that either.
No.
And so what's going to happen? I don't know. And people are like pushing Gavin Newsom. I don't know if he's electable. I'm like, I keep thinking that maybe somebody's going to come out that we haven't even thought about yet, but they need to be coming out now. And we need to have a 2.5, 3 years of campaigning so we're lined up. And hopefully he won't be able to stop the elections. The courts may stop him from doing that.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying too, is if there's anything we need to take from Donald, is that he was loud and was for many years, and it worked.
Right.
And so we don't need, a Democrat person be like, oh, well, we've got 2 years. We've got no, I need you to
No.
come and be loud now.
Right.
And, I just, before we get too far past this, you were talking about the Pam Bondi
Yes.
when those Epstein survivors stood up in that courtroom.
Yeah.
It's bringing tears to my eyes. Like when they
Yeah.
stood up in that courtroom and they were being asked questions, and they stood up and they
Right.
raised their hand,
Right.
and the bravery.
Oh, yeah.
And it was mostly women, but I saw at least one guy.
Well, that is Virginia Giuffre's brother.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, Sasha Riley, I mean, I know
Yeah.
he wasn't there, but I mean, there's obviously boys and
Why has no one interviewed him?
right.
Because they know he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
They know he's telling the truth. And they asked, the representative asked them, said, how many of you all are you willing to stand up? And they stood up. How many of you all have contacted the FBI? All of them raised their hands. How many have heard back from the FBI? They all put their hands down. How many are willing now to give a statement? They all raised their hand, and bitch wouldn't even turn around. And instead turned to, I'm not going to showboat. You're a disgusting human being.
Disgusting.
Yes.
And so I did just want to take a minute to acknowledge those brave people,
Oh.
that has to be terrifying. And but the strength that they
Yeah.
have to have is amazing. And I do think that there's something about so many of us. I don't know of one person that has not been affected somehow by some kind of sexual harassment or sexual assault.
Right.
Most people, or at least I thought I knew until 2 years ago, or well, however long ago with Trump, I guess, all have the same thoughts on it. It's bad. We don't do it. We fight against it. We believe victims, and I think this is going to start breaking people because we're all affected by sexual assault in one way or another.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what is it? One in every 4 women and one in every 3 women and one in every 5 men or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on those stats, but it's very common. And I think
that's why they don't tell.
Yeah.
That's what's up, because they won't be believed. The proof of burden is put on them.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. And there's not probably a woman in your life, me included, that hasn't had some sort of bullshit with some straight man sometime in their life.
Yeah.
And as kids, I mean, I've got 3 granddaughters, and I'm like, I know that sometime in their life, before they're full grown, some man is going to say something or do something inappropriate to them. Yeah. And my thing is to put it into them that you do not have to put up with it.
Absolutely.
Make it stop. But, the good old boy system's alive and well.
Absolutely.
And that crosses gay and straight lines.
100%.
And so is that going to change? I think that's just generations has been built into people that's okay. Boys will be boys.
Oh, that saying pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
I'm not, it gets me so upset. But I do think that this is going to be what really starts to bring it down is these sex scandals. And the more that it comes out, and because, I've had conversations with people, I've been surprised on a couple of answers, but I've asked people like, would you leave Donald Trump? Would you leave your daughter alone with Donald Trump for overnight? And they want to say no, but you will elect him to be the leader of all of us. All of us.
Yeah.
And you want him to influence the men out here that are going to be asking your daughter to prom, and maybe not taking no for an answer. You want him to be the influence. There was one person, and I lost a friend over this. I didn't care to let them go because I asked her that question, and she said, "Yeah, I believe my daughter with him because I taught my daughter how to defend herself."
That's not.
So you're
She
telling
shouldn't
me
have to that she shouldn't have to defend
she shouldn't
herself
have
first.
to, but
Right.
you're telling me that all these rape victims had parents that didn't give a fuck enough to teach their kids how to defend themselves from a powerful rapist, but you somehow have the brilliance to teach your daughter that? Shame on you. That is all I
Right.
need to know from you. I'm done.
And they were so manipulated. One of the survivors, I've seen several interviews with her. She's really well spoken and so quiet. And she said that the way they got her, she was 15, almost 16. And then it started out with, come to a party. Now you got to think, I worked down there, down in Palm Beach on one side of that bridge are rich people. On the other side of that bridge are not rich people. And they were going across that bridge and they were getting those lower middle class kids. A lot of them had one parent families and offer them $200 to come give massages to these. That was a big deal to them. That was a huge deal. Well, they invited her to go to these parties and she was like, wow, and bought her outfits to wear. This was Ghislaine Maxwell was behind a lot of that. And she was invited here and there. And then it went one step further, then asking her to do this and asking her to do this. It was master manipulation. And she said that it took her years, several years after she was out of it to realize just how badly she was manipulated. She said, I thought they were my friends. And I said, that's exactly what they wanted you to think, that you were one of.
Yeah.
And a 15-year-old, that's a big deal for a full-grown adult to be your buddy.
100%. And when you think of so through therapy, I had started working with groups where we would do, sexual assault group therapy for men.
You're
And which has been a lifesaver for me. I honestly thought it was going to be me and a couple of other gay guys. And I was the only gay guy for the longest time. I did not know how much sexual assault happened. And you know what's funny? Or
right.
not funny, but they had all done jail time. Some of them were actually in prison during these. And of course, this is not, this was the jail times that happened because of crimes that happened or addictions that happened after the assault, right? They are all battling addiction. And every single one of them was told they could not be raped. They were not raped. Some of them were even raped by women. And they said, well, you definitely can't be raped by a woman because you're a man. And so that leads to drugs and that leads to alcohol and that leads to just trying to numb the sting. And sometimes, it's what kind of gatewayed them into some of the life decisions that they made. The reason I say all that is when we think of, Ghislaine Maxwell and these victims, some of them, did not have money or maybe didn't have the best home life stability. And so when I talked to some of these people that were in gangs, they said that they were in gangs because they needed the brotherhood. They needed the family. They wanted to feel wanted and needed and accepted. And so that's what got them into a gang. And that was what drew them in, right? Just that having that companionship with someone, that brotherly love. Which ended up unfortunately going to disastrous routes most of the time. And so when you find these people like these young girls that are, maybe they don't have a dad, maybe they lost their mom, maybe their parents are divorced, maybe they don't have much money like their other friends do or whatever, and you say $200,
yeah, it's a big deal.
I mean, $200 to me is a lot of money, and this was 20, 30 years ago. $200 then was thousands of dollars.
Get flown to an island.
Yeah.
Going to New York, and all you have to do is this.
Yeah.
And then the next thing it was this, and the next thing it was this. And it led to as depraved as it can be, because the stuff that's coming out is terrifying. And did it happen? I think so. I think there's a lot more we may never find out. But my question is, why aren't they digging up that golf course?
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Why aren't you doing that? If you don't think it's real, dig it up.
Right.
That will never happen because they don't want to look for the truth because they know the truth. And so their whole game right now is to cover up that truth.
Well, that's what I tell a lot of them when I'm having this conversation is I don't think that you all understand how badly I want to be proven wrong.
Right.
I want to find out that I've been feeling sorry for some people that don't even exist and that was never sexually assaulted, and that all this is some kind of lie, that there are not millions of people out here that have been affected by all of these crimes that has led to suicide, that has led to addiction, that has led, to chaos and mental illness. I would love to find out that I was wrong, that I was duped. All you have to do is a little digging to prove
Right.
that I'm wrong.
Right.
And because you know what? I'm out doing the digging to prove to you that so far I'm right. And
Right.
that we need, but I don't want to be right.
Right.
You
And
know,
more and more's coming out. More and more's coming
Yeah.
out, Tom.
And if what is being released is by our DOJ, and it's as horrible as it is, and it's what is being released, imagine what isn't. And now they're saying what? Now they're saying that no more will be released.
Yeah, they don't wanna release anything else. See, that's what the whole thing is that we're gonna have to get hold of it. A good chance we have is that other countries have the unredacted files, and they're the ones that are coming out. I mean, the former prime minister of Norway's been taken into custody, and
Oh
that's the
yeah.
start of it. And so because they give not one shit.
Yeah. Prince
And
Andrew.
right, and they know what he is. They know what they are, because this is worldwide. It's not just this country.
No.
And, they were flying them here, there, and yonder to abuse, and ultimately some of these kids kill them. And I think that's exactly what happened, because these were nameless, faceless children that they brought in. Where'd they bring them in from? Is Erica Kirk involved in that?
I've got my eye on. I've got a lot of questions.
I mean, she ran an orphanage, kids out of an orphanage in Romania. It's all creepy. It's like a big tangled web.
I had a thought the other day, and this will be a whole different conversation because it does go on a conspiracy level kind of thing. So we don't have to necessarily get into it. But, there's just been this whole thing of like, did Charlie Kirk really die? Was that staged with, what is it, that projectile hologram kind of thing that I can't remember exactly what it's called. And, and then you have these experts coming out about, what that type of bullet, ammunition, gun would have done to him and versus what it didn't do. And a part of me wonders if I do think that he's dead.
Yeah.
But I wonder if maybe he died a different way out of the public eye before that happened and they had to stage something.
I think he's dead. I think that his inner circle was behind killing him. And I don't think he was killed by a rifle. I think he was killed by something in his microphone. And this is the way it worked. It too much lined up. The guy yanking his hand, it went off. They cleared everything out and emptied the cameras immediately. That's not how you investigate a crime. And he was gone, buried, moved. So nothing could be investigated.
Yeah. And pretty sure that we're the only ones calling it a crime scene.
Yeah. They concreted it over within like a week.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that's not people wanting to investigate a crime.
No.
I'm like, I think he was starting to piss some people off. And I think a lot of it has to do with Israel. I think they're all tied together. And he was starting to make a lot of people mad. And somebody who I never have really cared a lot about is Candace Owens. But I never have been a fan of hers. But she's digging into some shit. And I hope somebody's protecting her because she don't care. And I think that comes down to, I think her and Charlie Kirk were truly friends.
Yeah.
Are they great people? Was he a great person? No, I don't think so. But I think they were friends. And I think she's like, this ain't right. This ain't right.
I had an episode about Charlie Kirk. I recorded it like 2 days after it happened. And there's not a nice thing I had to say about him. There's nothing that I've heard from him that I agree with, but he should not have been shot.
Absolutely not.
If what we saw was real, and that's what we'll go by, right?
Not.
What happened should not have happened. Period. Right. And when people want to come, I vote because I want people to be able to disagree with me.
Right.
I vote because I want you to be able to say, you know what, I don't like this, or I'm not for this, or whatever. I vote for you to have that right. You're voting for me to not have that right unless I'm getting permission from you of what I'm allowed to say, which means I don't have that right. Right. Like if I've got to tell you what you want to hear and what you approve of me saying, then that right's taken from me. I voted the way that I did for Charlie Kirk to have the platform that he did. I
Right.
agree with it 100%. I
Right.
like it. I don't like anything about him. I do not want him dead. Never wished him dead.
No.
And did not celebrate when it happened.
No. It's First Amendment. He had every right to say that. But I think the whole thing, like martyrs don't appear, martyrs are created. And I think they turned him into a martyr. And that's what they did. And I think that was the plan all along. And that's what they did. All of a sudden, it was a Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk. Oh, Charlie Kirk. He was a freaking podcaster. That's what he was.
Yeah.
He was a podcaster. And you're making him into some angelic speaker of God's word. And
Right.
he wasn't. He wasn't. But they needed that at that time because all their politics were getting a little shaky. And they'd already had too many assassination attempts. So they had to have something else. So they got rid of him. And I think it's a shame. And I think he knew something was up from things that he'd said to friends and stuff the weeks before.
Oh, yeah. You know, and I have a love-hate relationship with Candace Owens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I definitely disagree with her on. Here lately, there's been some, especially when it comes to like the Charlie Kirk thing. I'm like, okay, I'm listening to, and I just like when I see her, I'm like, you know what? I like you. I want to like you. If you just were a little bit more open-minded and like I could be a Candace Owens fan.
Right. That's how she's created herself, though.
Oh yeah,
It's
100%.
all an illusion.
Oh,
It's all
100%.
an illusion. She thinks everybody's trans, and no, they play upon that stuff out of people's fears. That's how they make millions upon millions of dollars. But I think this thing with Charlie Kirk really messed with her head. I think that was her friend.
Yeah.
And she's setting herself on the line out there, throwing them words out there will get you in trouble.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so
Poorly. I mean, how much safety can you really provide yourself when you're speaking out on that type of platform? But surely they have, because again, whether I like her or disagree with her or not, I don't want her tortured. I don't want her murdered. She's a mother. I don't want her kids to be orphaned. You know, I want her to be safe and taken care of, whether I agree with her opinions or not.
Right, but they were, they kept wanting him to put a coin and doxing people who said stuff against him and people losing their jobs. I'm like, it's a podcaster. What are you all doing?
Right.
But see, that kept him going for a few months, though. I mean, he's only been dead, 5 months, something like that. And his wife done moved on. She done moved on. She moved on like within a week. And the whole thing is just bizarre. Will I live to see the end of this story? Probably not. But this is going to be a story that's going to play out for generations. All this is.
Yeah.
And it's hopefully this country's still here. The country we live is still here. Where I can go speak my mind and be with my wife and be with my grandkids and not have anybody try to kill me because of it.
Right. There's a podcast I listen to, and you might have. Do you listen to I've Had It News? Or I Hit News? I need to send you a link. So it's two women. They're from Oklahoma. They're white. One's a lawyer. The other one, her husband is a criminal defense attorney. They come from money. And by looking at it, they joke all the time. They're like, you would think that we're supposed to be MAGA. And they are absolutely not. They have a brilliant podcast. It's flown through the roof. And yeah, you remind me a lot of them. They are the ones that I was referring to earlier, that they just have this class, especially Jennifer Welch. She just has this classy, elegant, but stern way of saying something. And I'm like, that's what I was saying, but you made it sound pleasant to hear where people like actually listen versus I'm turning this loud asshole off, So I listen. I'll have to send you a link. You have to check them out. You will love them. But they do so they have their fun podcast. It's called I've Had It. And then they have their political, it's called I Hit. So it's I've Had It News podcast.
Sure.
And so on the fun one, they had all these politicians on, and they ask, like a couple of questions. And the last one that they ask, and so I'm going to copy them and ask you, do you still love America?
Of course. I love my country.
Yeah.
I love my country. I love everything about what my country stands for. I love the rights that are handed to me by the Bill of Rights. I love being able to go outside and be in the mountains in 10 minutes and have no, and the freedom of this country and the freedom to vote for the things that I want. And those are the things they're wanting to take from me. Absolutely. And I get really tired of hearing that, the Democrats hate the country. That's the opposite. It's the opposite. We love the country and we don't want to lose it. We don't want to lose it to this authoritarian regime. And that's what's happening. I don't want somebody to tell me how I have to live my life.
Yeah.
I think we all, like, I did a post on it one time that I think everybody deserves the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and health care, and shelter, and food. I think we all deserve that. And it's not like we can't afford it as a country. We can.
Oh, yeah.
It's just screwed up. They put money in places we don't need it and keep money from places we need it. I have no problem with feeding a mother and her children. Are there going to be people that milk the system? Absolutely. There always will be. But, them 6 kids don't have a dog in that fight.
Exactly.
So feed those kids. Feed them, educate them, do the things, spend your money there. I would much rather you do that than me paying for another tank parade up in Washington.
Right.
Or a ballroom. So, yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm an American to the bone. This
100%.
This is what America looks
Yeah.
like, believe it or not,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I heard someone say, there's this whole thing going where, this is a Christian nation. Well, no, this is a nation where you can be a Christian.
Right.
And you can celebrate that.
Right.
This is a nation built by immigrants.
Right. Right. We all are.
We all are.
Right. We all are. And we all, just about, at least in this side of the country, well, probably most of the country, actually, but I know in this area, almost all of us have a little Native American blood in us. Almost all of us came from an immigrant family. Don't have to go back too many generations to find where they came from.
Right.
Look at our names. You can tell where they came from. My mother was an O'Connor. Where was her family from? They were from Ireland. And you can look back in that. But my dad's side, it's about, maybe now, I'm old, so probably 4 or 5 generations back in the book, a family Bible, one of them took an Indian bride. That's what it says. They didn't have her name. They didn't have anything about it, but they were from, like, up in West Virginia. She was more than likely had Cherokee in her. And here you go. So we're a blend. And Jimmy Carter said something about, how was it he described it? That we're not a melting pot. We're a beautiful mosaic. And that's what this country is. And they're trying to take that from us. And that's all the colors, all the religions, everything. But they should be able to live in harmony and be able to be safe and be able to be taken care of.
Yes.
And I don't care about my dollars going to that. Absolutely. But the other stuff, yeah, it bothers me. I don't want to make them richer. I want to make them richer.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have absolutely loved this conversation. I definitely want to have you back, and thank you for being loud and fighting the fight and doing what you're doing. You inspire me, you educate me. And thank you for that.
Absolutely, David.
I hope you've enjoyed your first podcast.
I've enjoyed my first podcast. And you can write that down. When I get rich and famous, you can say I was,
I was that. Yeah, absolutely.